Hi everyone, my name is Christian, along with the Group 2 members Benjamin and Kingsley. This project is called Protecting Pandas, Securing the Preserved Sensor Network Against Poachers. This presentation focuses on a specific problem faced by the Forest Preserve. The preserve uses a sensor network to monitor panda movement across a large and remote forest, but recent evidence suggests that poachers may be using computer-based methods to locate pandas. Because of that, our role was to examine the preserve's current environment, identify the most important vulnerabilities, and develop practical recommendations to help stop poachers from benefiting from the preserve's own technology. To keep the presentation focused, we organized it into four main parts. First, we explain the problem and why it is significant. Second, we summarize our project goals and the main findings from the Ranger conversations and system analysis. Third, we present our recommendations and explain why they are justified, feasible, and better suited to this preserve than earlier efforts. Finally, we close with implementation considerations, including phase rollout, limitations, and expected impact of those proposed solutions. Overall, our goal is not to offer a broad cybersecurity overhaul. It is to stay focused on one mission, which is protecting pandas from poachers through realistic, cost-conscious, and actionable security improvements. The current panda tracking system works through a simple mesh network. Each panda has an RFID tag. When the panda moves near a field sensor, that sensor reads the tag and creates a small message. That message includes the panda ID, a timestamp, the sensor ID, and environmental details like temperature and humidity. From there, the message is passed from sensor to sensor across the forest until it reaches the ranger station. At the station, the data is stored on a server and viewed by staff on the local workstations. This design is practical because it helps the preserve monitor pandas across a large area. But at the same time, the system creates a repeated transmissions across the environment, and that can introduce security risk. If those messages are exposed or accessed by the wrong person, the preserve's own technology could unintentionally help poachers track panda movement. That leads into an important part of our analysis, which is the field realities that shape the solution. The preserve covers about 1,200 square kilometers of remote, mountainous forest, so constant patrol coverage is not realistic. The sensors are solar powered, which means bad weather can reduce uptime. The ranger team is also small, so they are already balancing many responsibilities, including maintaining the sensors, the network, the server, and the workstations. On top of that, internet connectivity is limited and the budget is tight. So the preserve cannot rely on a solution that is expensive, overly complex, or dependent on constant cloud access. That's why our recommendation is centered on practicality. The best cybersecurity plan is not the one with the most features. It's the one the rangers can actually install, manage, and sustain over time.
The current system is vulnerable for a multitude of reasons. The preserve isn't dealing with just one security flaw, it's dealing with a layered exposure problem. Many small vulnerabilities are combining to create a serious risk. First, field messages are sent over unencrypted radio traffic, which means poachers with the right radio equipment can read them. Second, there's weak access control. Accounts are decentralized, sometimes even shared, which makes it hard to know who has access to sensitive location data and when. Third, monitoring is minimal. There's no strong system in place to detect suspicious logins or unusual sensor behavior. Fourth, the system uses predictable communication paths, meaning movement patterns could be inferred over time. And finally, the system itself is aging, with inconsistent updates and maintenance. When all of these issues are combined, the results are grave. The preserve's own system could unintentionally help poachers locate pandas faster. Now it's important to recognize that the preserve has already taken steps to remediate this issue in the past. For example, you've implemented a locked station with physical protections and limited access. You've also had basic logging, but without active monitoring, there is no way to detect an intrusion in a timely manner. There was an earlier consultant approach that tried to hide or modify parts of messages, and even another approach used a stronger model, but neither fully solved the problem. So the key lesson here is that a single technical fix is likely to fail if it doesn't address the big picture. Factors such as real-world conditions, access control, monitoring, and ongoing maintenance. That's where our proposal is different. We focus on protecting data in the field, tightening who can access it, adding visibility through alerts, and phasing improvements so they fit your preserve's current budget and staffing. So instead of relying on one oversized solution, we recommend a defense in depth approach, 5 layers working together to protect panda location data. First, we secure field messages, making intercepted radio traffic effectively useless, using various standardized and approved algorithms. Second, we control access to data by implementing multi-factor authentication, unique user accounts, and role-based permissions. Third, we protect stored data by encrypting central records and segmenting the internal network. Fourth, we improve visibility with alerts for unusual logins, missing nodes, or abnormal traffic patterns. And finally, we reduce intelligence value by slightly limiting the precision or timing of location data when possible. Each of these layers reinforces the others. Even if one control fails, the system as a whole remains secure. Together, this creates a practical and realistic strategy that significantly reduces the risk of poachers exploiting the system and, most importantly, protects the pandas.
Implementation timeline, phase security deployment. This implementation uses a phases deployment model to strengthen security without requiring a full infrastructure replacement, which is critical for maintaining ongoing preserve operation. In the first 30 days, we establish identity security by enforcing unique user account, eliminating shared credential, and implementing password reset. We also redefine role-based access control, ensuring least privileged access. From 1 to 3 months, we introduce stronger protection through multi-factor authentication and server-side encryption, while piloting secure messaging to protect sensitive communications. In the 3 to 6 months phase, we expand these protections across the environment, focusing on coverage gap and refining deployment based on real-world feedback. Finally, in the 6 to 12 months phase, we operationalize the system by adding sensor alert, identifying high-risk zone, documenting procedures, and measuring effectiveness. This phase strategies ensure low disruption, cost control, and iterative validation, align cybersecurity improvement with operational realities in the field. Alternative and hybrid strategy decision. We evaluate 2 architectural approaches. The station/gateway model offers strong centralized control, simplifying administration and identifying management. However, it risks leaving field communications exposed, which is where adversaries are mostly likely to intercept data. The field-centered model directly protects those high-risk areas, but introduces greater deployment complexity and maintenance challenge. To balance this trade-off, we select a hybrid strategies. This approach immediately strengthens centralized controls while incrementally deploying field-level protections in the most vulnerable zone first. This ensures maximum risk reduction, operational feasibility, and long-term scalability, making it the most effective solution for this preserve. Risk limitations and mitigations. Why these controls significantly improve security posture? They do not eliminate all risk, which is an important distinction. First, physical poaching methods, such as trap or manual tracking, cannot be addressed by cybersecurity alone. To mitigate this, we integrate technical controls with rangers patrol operations. Second, environmental risk, including weather and power outage, can disrupt sensors. We address this through redundancy, maintenance planning, and buffering in critical zone. Third, operational burden is a real concern. If systems are too complex, abduction fail. Therefore, we emphasize simplicity and targeted training. Finally, due to incomplete threat intelligence, we implement layered defenses, reducing multiple attack paths simultaneously rather than relying on a single point of protection. Now, I will hand it back to Christian to give the closing recommendations.
To close this, our recommendation is to protect Panda location data in a way that fits how the preserve really operates. That means securing field messages so intercepted radio traffic becomes less useful. It means limiting who can view Panda locations and making access more accountable. And it means adding basic alerts so unusual activity can be detected earlier. Just as important, this work should be rolled out in phases. A phased approach makes it easier to control cost, reduce disruption, and adapt the plan to real field conditions as the preserve moves forward. If implemented well, this strategy can significantly reduce the chance that poachers exploit the preserve's own system against the pandas. Thank you for your time and attention. And again, this is Group 2, and I am Christian, along with my groupmate Benjamin and Kingsley.